Welcome back, Grief Nation listeners. And today I have a very special guest of the Everytown Network Survivor Fellow Story Share Edition, which is Olga Williams. Hi, Olga.
Hi, Miami. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm so glad that you're on the show today to talk about Dominique's world. Can you share with us your grief journey and how you got here?
Okay, so the journey is a journey in itself. Um, I'm actually was bonus mom to Dominique, and I absolutely loved everything about Dominique. And so when the tragedy happened, I knew that I had to do something
Yes,
because Dominique's life mattered. And there is something about waking up every day and wanting to share your story so you can help a family, help a young person make a better choice
absolutely.
in life.
Absolutely. Talk to us about the defining moment of getting that phone call for you and your family.
Well, it's a moment that I will never forget. It was a Sunday afternoon, and because Dominique was my bonus son, although he lived with us the last 2 years of his life, he'd been on a band trip because he loved to play the drums. So the week prior, he'd been on a band trip. He turned 17. He went on a band trip. And then, of course, he was going to start school a few weeks later. And he was going to spend some time with his mom in South Carolina. So he went and stayed with his mom before he came to return to Georgia. And that afternoon, we were going to church. And of course, Dominique called. He and his dad were like close.
Yeah.
And so he called his dad just to say, "Dad, I love you."
Oh,
And yeah, he called us. We were at dinner and we were just talking about him. He was at dinner. And so after dinner, we all went home. Um, my husband went to the store. He called me and said, Dominique is gone. Gone where? He said he's gone. He's gone. Somebody killed him. I will never ever forget that call. I'll never forget that moment. I will never ever forget the way that felt.
mhm.
Um, and to think about his life and what he meant and all the purpose that he had in life, that is why I wake up every day with ideas of how I can get the word out, how I can tell his story, and how I can just, opportunities just to help a family.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just amazing you that being your bonus son, but you have just that much love. That's what happens when there's a blended family. People really need to understand blended families are that's just a name that they put on it, but that's my family. That's just like my child. That's like, if I birthed them myself, and the love of that is so real with you for doing all the things that you've done for Dominique's world. Talk to us about who Dominique is.
Oh my gosh. Dominique is a burst of smiles. Dominique is laughter. Dominique is brilliant. Oh my gosh, he's loving. Dominique is a musician. He's an athlete. Dominique is everything that he's everything.
Yes.
And so for his oh my gosh, he's everything.
Yes, absolutely. But I know you could. I can understand you saying that because it's like, first of all, you're illuminating just talking about him, and I know your work, your platform that you've built for Dominique, it speaks for itself. And the best way to honor our loved ones is to exemplify everything that they were. So, and you've been doing that. Can you explain to families and other moms the complexity of that journey and what moved you through the grief process, you and your family?
Well, it all boils down to love.
Hmm.
When you love someone and you love everything about them, it's not hard to try to have that love bounce off of you and want it to bounce off of someone else.
Hmm.
My family is a very close family. I call Dominique bonus son, but he's my mother's grandson. He's my aunt's nephew. He's my cousin's cousin.
Yeah,
So we have a lot of love and support. A lot of love and support.
yeah,
There's also organizations like Everytown, that helps you get through where you need to go also.
Mm-hmm. And how did your husband deal with through all of this? How do you felt he dealt?
Um, I don't know. A lot of times I have to step back because I
Mm-hmm.
have so many ideas,
Yeah.
and I kind of step back and think to myself, is this too much for Leroy to deal with? And I think, am I being selfish in wanting to do so many things? And how does he really feel? But he says that the things that we do in the community inspire him just for somebody else's son.
Yeah.
When he goes to the barbershop, he says he's inspired by seeing other dads with their sons.
Mm-hmm.
So he's,
Yeah. And you have a daughter, right?
yes, Lindsay.
And how does Lindsay cope with the loss of a brother?
Okay, so with Lindsay, it's a little different because we have a 10-year-old daughter who talks to a picture.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 10-year-old daughter who we're in a restaurant and she says things like, well, you didn't order for Dominique.
Mm-hmm.
No, I have a baby who you'll walk past her room and you'll hear her talking to her brother.
Wow.
Or she'll be asking God, I thought you answered prayers.
Mm-hmm.
So Lindsay's grief is a little different because I don't really understand how she expresses herself,
Mm-hmm.
but she expresses herself, I guess, through just letting him be there,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And you guys, I'm sure, allow that for her to be able to do that in that space. That's amazing. That is so amazing. Um, please give us your thoughts as far as being a homicide survivor and the reactions just to your son's death. What the initial part of it?
There is a feeling. You think that this can't happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't realize that it's real, but it's real because they're not there anymore. You know, Dominique is not coming back. He's not on a trip, and one day he's going to come through the door. So that feeling of someone being taken away from you, I can't even explain that feeling.
Yeah,
I know that it's awful. It's awful.
yeah. And tell us your why. Why did you start Dominique's World?
Why? Why Dominique's World? One day Leroy and I were riding, and this is right after Dominique was killed. And I was like, Leroy, we have got to do something. Every day, every day you think about Dominique. You reminisce on what he could have been or what he could have done or the things that he's going to do. And so that why, Dominique is our why. I mean, that's the only why is him. And that smile,
Yeah,
wanting other young men to know that they are great and they can make it and they can do all these great things in life.
absolutely, absolutely. Now, what I know you talked about why you started it, but what helped you get into that process to be able to do that? Because there's we all grieve differently, of course, and yes, we do end up defining our purpose there, but for a mother that is looking forward to that time, because everybody's so different in their grief journey, and for anybody that could be listening that this has just happened, what is the advice that you would give them to the point of getting to the meaning and the resiliency? What can you how can you support them right now?
I know that it takes a lot of prayer. You pray. You literally going to ask God, what do I need to be doing?
Hmm. Hmm.
And when I tell you, everybody, like you said, everybody's different. And I have a lot of fire behind me. I always want things to happen.
Hmm.
And I don't want families, I honestly do not want families to feel like this.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if that kind of answers the question or not, but it's just the drive of not wanting anybody else to feel this way.
Hmm. That's true.
That is, I don't want to, I don't want another new mother to be on an interview with you talking about this, because it hurts. It's a hurtful feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not a club that any mother wants to be a part of, but we are here, and we are here sharing our stories, no matter how they happen. We are both affected by this horrendous epidemic. It is that really it is that too. And I'm so grateful for you encouraging other families of how to, you know, process and also define the meaning and also still enjoy in your lifetime, your loved one. So talk about some of the programs and things that you do through Dominique's World.
Okay, so we call it a mentorship program, but it's actually more of an outreach.
Okay.
We go to like the Boys and Girls Club, and we have a mentoring there with the youth in the afternoons. We hold forums. We just held a forum called Hall If You Hear Me, and that was a panel of all fathers that lost their loved ones to gun violence.
Oh, wow.
And it's supposed to be an annual event, but this year we couldn't do it because of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
We also do a yearly bow ties and blazers all male fashion show.
All right.
It takes place in July. And July is special because that's the month that Dominique was born.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the month that he also was murdered. So we have it around, because he was born on July the 10th and he was murdered on the 19th. So we have it around that time, and it's a fashion show because he loved to dress.
Mm-hmm.
Loved to dress.
Yeah.
And it's bow ties and blazers because he loved bow ties. And the other young men and fathers that are in the show are trailblazers. That's why it's bow ties and blazers. And we have grandfathers, godsons, godfathers that participate. So we celebrate living sons while we're honoring our loved ones that were murdered to gun violence.
That is so beautiful. That is so awesome. I'm so glad that your husband is very, very involved as well, because a lot of, seeing a lot of the faces and women that are a part of this movement, it's just them, it's you don't get to see the dads that often, but I'm so grateful that you have shared that your husband is definitely a major part of your advocacy. So now let's talk about your advocacy. Talk about your chapter with moms, and then tell us about your Everytown Survivor Fellow experience.
Okay, so I joined Moms Demand Action here in Savannah. Javanya McDowell, she reached out to me and we just became BFFs.
Uh-huh.
And so she gave me all the information. And at first I wasn't ready to do it. Mm-hmm. But then I was like, no, I need to do this. And so she would bring opportunities to me and she'd be like, I want you to speak. I need you to be here at 11. I'm going to have you speak at 11:15. And so she invited my family out and we would just come out and we would tell our story.
Yeah.
That has been a blessing. Mm-hmm. Because for one, I think sharing helps you.
Yeah.
It does. It really does help you. And then when the another big honor was the Everytown Survivor Fellow. I just became one of the Survivor Fellows, and that weekend that we had was amazing.
Yes, it was.
That was amazing. And so when I sat back and was thinking, I was like, I called my husband. I was like, Leroy, there are so many moms that feel just like me. And I said, it's like a club.
Yeah.
Everybody is resilient. Everybody's telling their stories. And I was so excited to be a part.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yes. Just the women that are in the room, so many different ranges and from different backgrounds, from financial different backgrounds, from educational differences in background, from skin color, and but we don't even see any of that being in the room. It's just that we have lost someone and we all are here to make a difference. That's all you were able to see, which like you said, it was a beautiful experience. I was so honored to meet you there. I'm so glad that we're a part of this sisterhood as well. So when I look at both moms, I know that there's a part of it that we grieve in and we constantly continue to build each other up. But then there's this other part, which is Everytown, which is the sisterhood or the brotherhood or just just the family portion of it. I feel that brings it all together in that under that umbrella. So what's next for the journey for you and your husband, your family, and also your organization?
Well, we are not going to stop bringing awareness to gun violence. Mm-hmm. Especially not. I journal a lot. I have a board of directors that keeps me kind of grounded.
Awesome.
And so it's just whatever we can do to to help young people in our community to make a difference, whether it's pointing them to counseling. We're going to continue to do that. I'm going to continue to keep telling the story. I'm going to continue to do everything I can do in my community and around the world. I'm talking global, to bring awareness to gun violence.
Absolutely. Now, along this journey, I know that there have been some things that with your organization you may need assistance with. Can you please tell us how can people support you during this time?
Well, actually, the community can go to our website, which is dominiquesworld.org. They can follow us on Facebook at Dominique's World. We have an Instagram that's Dominique's World Mentorship Program. There is a place on our website where they can make donations if they'd like to. And all of our donations go to help us with our next campaign that we do.
Okay.
Hold forums. And so, and another thing we do is at our Bow Ties and Blazers fashion show, we give back to the young men that are in the show.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. We give them donations for school, whatever they're working on. They have a little entrepreneurship. You never know who it's going to be.
Right. Oh, that is so sweet. I think this is amazing. And just in case someone didn't hear your social media platforms, can you say those for us again?
Yes. Facebook is Dominique's World. Instagram is Dominique's World Mentorship. And our website is www.dominiquesworld.org.
Thank you so much for that. And if you had a special quote or a quote or something that you would share with us, what is that?
Oh, I have so many. But my special quote would be, it's easier to for others to respect you if you respect yourself.
Absolutely. And I'm sure that rings loud and clear with the young men that you actually you mentor. I'm sure you tell them that a lot. And so give us one of your success stories with one of the young men that you work with.
Oh, okay. So there's a group of young men at a high school. And my husband and I we were going like once a quarter. And they would have us as guests. And to walk in the room and have the most disrespectful young men, I'm talking about paying you no attention, telling you that, why are you here? And for them to hear your story and understand that you're there and you care about them, and to then have them calling you and calling my husband, wanting to hang out.
Yeah.
And that is part of the story. That is part of the yes. We are doing something positive.
Yes. And your Moms Demand Action advocacy work. So where is your chapter at right now?
Well, I haven't spoken with anybody right now because of the pandemic that's going on. But the last thing we did was we had a viewing for the Emmanuel, which was the shooting that took place in Charleston.
Okay.
And we had a viewing for that. And that was awesome. The community came out, and it was just another way to show awareness to the epidemic that's going on.
Now, are there any other parts of gun violence prevention that you work with? Are you on any other campaigns like Be Smart, or do you do any other parts of the gun violence prevention stuff?
No, not with Be Smart, no. Okay. But anybody that has something in the community, Dominique's World is there.
Okay.
And we're willing to help.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time today. And before I let anyone go, I always ask, is there anything in your community, or you can speak to not only the gun violence, you can speak to something in regards to your organization, but is there anything that you would like to see change or bring further awareness to?
Yes, I mean, my biggest thing is love. If we can get more love back in our community, I believe that love can make a difference. And I think it does, because God is love.
Yeah.
And if I can get my community to just love on each other more, then I believe that we can make a great difference in our community.
Absolutely. And I do have one more thing. As far as this pandemic, and what you're seeing our youth and young adults do, because there are a lot of times that I'm scrolling through my feed and I'm seeing these videos, to and these children or young adults, millennium, Z, X, whichever generation you want to call them, they're out and about, they're hanging, they're having parties, but yet they have masks on. Speak to that generation about how important what's going on, in our community, and how they should take it seriously.
Oh yes. Now I've seen not even young adults, but I've seen adults,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not taking it serious either. I believe that if everybody could just stay home, you could stop this, because you could be asymptomatic and not even know it. And now you've given it to somebody who's going to work at a hospital, who's going to take care of somebody elderly, then they get it. So
Yeah,
it is important to everybody just stay home and just chill out.
yeah. So, what are some of the things that you've done for, just some self care during this time?
Oh, well, I journal a lot, journal, just relaxing and meditating.
All right. Thank you so much for your inspiration, for everything that you are doing in our community, for your advocacy work, and sharing your story today. I really appreciate you, Olga, for coming on today. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.